Alright, so today's video is going to be me breaking down everything from point A to point Z. I'm gonna explain it the simple way possible. I trade market structure, price action on the higher time frame. I swing trade, and here are my stats. And also, as well, with that being said, I have nothing to sell you, big bro. Nothing. No mentorships, no courses, no signals to sell you. Just overall here to give you free game. So subscribe, and I hope you like the video, and I hope it makes sense to you. Good luck. And also as well, as you can see today, yo, why I look like that. For today, we have a $45,000 withdrawal. Wait, bro. Yo, it won't focus. Anyways, enjoy the video. Yeah, so today I'll be breaking down pretty much every way, everything possible when it comes to how I trade. I'm just gonna give you exactly what I do, what I like to do. Overall, I trade market structure and price action. So when it comes to trading this, I also trade on the higher time frame as well. I prefer the higher time frame over pretty much anything. Even though if I'm on like the 15-minute time frame, I can still mark out the 1 hour level. So like let's say here, let's say here. And this just comes with overtime. So here, this is a level, and this is a 1 hour high too as well. And then if I go to the 1 hour, it's pretty much still the same levels, right? So with that being said, today I'm gonna teach you guys just pretty much everything, how to read price action. What is price action? Once again, price action, for the people that don't know, is really just market structure and looking at who's in control of the markets. Buyers or sellers. Buyers are in control of the markets, or sellers in control of the markets. I'm gonna slow down my speaking as well if I'm speaking a little bit too fast. Market structure plays a big key into everything. The reason why is because of trends. Market structure creates trends. So market, sorry, market structure creates trends, right? So market structure creates trends. I need you to write that down if you want to, or save it, however you want to, look at that, right? Market structure creates trends. Trends will not break market structure, right? And when I say this, there's obviously price can do this, but I want you to just like for now put in your head that trends cannot break market structure, right? Just put that in your head right now, and then I'm gonna tell you the difference in later on. Like, but in your head right now should be market structure creates trends. Trends will not break market structure, right? Those things should be in your head. So once we move on, right? I need you now to know that market structure is higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows. That's market structure. Keep it simple. So market structure is higher highs, higher lows, oops, lower lows, lower highs, right? This is market structure. Keep it simple, right? Now, for beginners, you're probably like, what is a higher high? What is a higher low? What is a lower high? What is a lower low? I'm gonna slow down my speaking. A higher high is essentially when price goes up above a previous level that was already a high. So basically making a new high score, right? So this will be considered a higher high. This right here will be considered a higher high because it went higher than the previous one. So this is how high price came up, it stopped, came down. This is a higher low, right? Because it's lower than the previous. It's lower than the or it's going to be lower than the previous low, but you haven't seen that one yet, right? But we're going to have so essentially the higher high starts first. You need a higher high. And then after the higher high is made, price will make a higher low, which is essentially a pullback. And then price will go up for another higher high. This is a start of an uptrend. This is the characteristics of an uptrend. You'll see price go high, you'll see a pullback, and then you'll see another high being made. This is overall showing you that price is bullish, right? You only need it this way. So you only need to see one high, one higher low, and a new high to confirm that this is an uptrend, right? Nothing else. But from here, you're going to be able to do a lot more with this. I just need you to remember that this is a higher high, or this is a high, right? So this is our high. And then let's say this is our low, and then this is our higher high. That is what a higher high is, right? So now let's say if we take that same scenario, so we have our high, our low, our higher high, this will be considered our higher low. And we're going to confirm this higher low also as well because price is going to start making its way back up. It's going to start trending back up. I'll show you later how to break down, just overall how to know when price is ready to reverse. Good old Rebel. Um, so if we take this and repeat it, boom, and then we take this, boom, right? So remember, we have our higher high. After a higher high comes a higher low because this low is essentially higher than the previous one, right? The reason why it is a low, so the best way to explain it is when you start to see price sell off or you start to see price go down, this is essentially telling you like, hey, this is a pullback or this is a higher low in the makings, price is selling. But if price is in an uptrend, trends will not break market structure. Market structure is what you're looking at right now, the higher highs, the higher lows. When price is coming down, it cannot break this low. If it's in an uptrend, so what we're looking at now is an uptrend. Remember earlier I said that all you need is the high, the low, and the new higher high to confirm that this is an uptrend, right? So we're in an uptrend right now. For price to stay in an uptrend, it cannot go any lower than this. So as long as it doesn't go any lower than this, price is still considered in an uptrend. Price is still in an uptrend. So all you're essentially doing is waiting for that higher low to finish and go back up. I'm gonna teach you guys how to get into trades and how to get in and all that later, but you really need to understand market structure. And then later on, we're going to talk about price action, what all these highs and lows even mean. So from here, we have our higher high. We come down, we make our higher low. Come back up. What is it going to do? Make a higher high. Trends. If you ever seen a trend, notice how you keep seeing the same thing. So you're going to see higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. You're going to keep seeing the same thing because let's say you're watching TikTok. You're going to see the same trend over and over and over and over and over until it dies out. Once it dies out, they're on to the next trend. Same thing with trading. Same thing with looking at the charts. You're going to see the same high, low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. You're going to see the same thing. And then when price is done with the trend, it's going to do something different. It's going to look for the next trend. It's going to do something different this time. So, the reason why I'm saying this is because now I'm going to break it down to you to show you how price is going to change. So, if price is ready to change, it will do one of the two things. Please write this down. If price is willing to change, it's going to stop doing one of the two things, right? So remember, in order for price to let you know it's an uptrend, it needs to do one of the two things. Either make that higher high or either needs to make that higher low first. It needs to make one. If price makes one of them, this can help you confirm. It's not fully saying like, hey, price is buying or price is selling. It's just confirming you and letting you know, hey, we made a higher low. We have potential to start an uptrend, right? If we made a higher high, we have potential to start on that uptrend, right? You just then need that other part. So if price makes a higher low, you need that higher high. And if price makes a higher high, you need that higher low. You need both of these to confirm the trend. But when you get one, it's signaling you that hey, we're getting ready. We're getting ready to do something. So it's very important to remember this. But when price is done with this trend, it's not trending anymore. What you're going to see is you're either going to see one or two things. You're going to see price fail to make a new high. So there is no higher high. There's no more higher high anymore. It just stops and it starts rejecting, meaning it doesn't want to go up anymore. I'm going to explain price action later, but it doesn't want to make a higher high anymore, right? It doesn't want to do that. That is signaling you that price is getting ready to sell. It doesn't fully mean sell yet. I'm gonna explain price action and how to get into the trades and how to look for the trades later. But this right here is very important because now this would be considered a lower high. A lower high is essentially the same thing as a higher high and higher low. This is basically what it sounds like. Price is the high is lower than the previous one. Now, this is very important because now we go back to this. Trends will not break market structure. So now we can add to this unless the trend is changing, right? Trends will not break market structure unless the trend is changing. So once the trend starts to change, you'll start seeing different characteristics. You'll start seeing a lower high, which is something that happens in a downtrend. Market structure creates trends. Trends will not break market structure unless the trends is changing. Then, if we remove this once again, so if we take this and we now see a lower high, trends will not break at market structure. All right, that rule has been broken, right? So now we look at this part and we say, but the rule has been broken because the trend is changing, right? So then we delete this and we go back to it. Since now we see a lower high is a part of a downtrend. That's what you will see in a downtrend. So just a brief explanation of a downtrend. It is when you see price make a low, price make a lower high. So this is our low, this is our high, this is our lower low, this is our lower high, this is our lower low, and then we have our lower high later. And it's pretty self-explanatory. We have the low, so this is the low. So this is where everything starts. And I'm gonna show you guys how you can, mark up your charts too as well. This is the low. This is where you start. You're always gonna, I'm gonna explain later, but you're always gonna start the week with finding your high, finding your low, because that's what you're gonna work off of. Once you work off that, you will start to see, okay, here's my high, here's my low, or this is my low, this is my high. And then the week progresses and price breaks that low. This is signaling you that this week could be bearish. So we have a lower low, right? And then we also have a lower high, which these are signs that price is becoming bearish or is bearish. It's in a downtrend. But when you mix the two, so price is in an uptrend and then you see a lower high, this is a no-go. This cannot happen. This is not something you just instantly sell, but now this is fishy. It should become fishy to you. You should now investigate. Hmm, price just made a lower high in an uptrend. Hmm, okay. Now we need to see price make a lower low to confirm. So remember what I said earlier. You can have one of these things, which is going to make you think, okay, price could be in an uptrend. But when you get that higher low too as well, then you know price is in an uptrend. So same way with a reversal, you're going to see that lower high, And you're gonna be like, we have a lower high now. But then when you get that lower low, boom, that break, then you're like, okay, price is in a downtrend, right? This is market structure at its finest. Market structure, the easiest way you're gonna learn on YouTube. Literally the easiest way you're gonna learn this. With all this being said, this plays a huge, literally rewatch this part 10 times, 20 times, please. Just rewatch this part 20 times. Like literally watch it 20 times. 20 times. Like, bro, watch it 20 times, 30 times, 40 times. Watch it 50 times. Because this is all the sauce right here. Like, this is like, because what I'm gonna say next is gonna fucking blow your minds. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. So, with all this being said, you just learned what a trend is, uptrend, downtrend. The best way explained possible, plus a little advice on reversals. So, with this being said, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to understand what these highs and these lows mean, right? So let's go ahead and, write this down. Once again, if you miss something or you feel like you didn't understand, replay it again. I might say something later on that helps it out, but honestly, this is not that hard to understand. So let's continue. I am going to delete. So we have all this. Remember, higher or low. Then we have the higher high. Then we have the higher low, which confirms the uptrend. All right. So with all this, we're going to delete this. Boom. Now we're back at square one again. So with what you just learned about an uptrend and a downtrend, the reason why I explained the market structure first is because these trends, they happen a lot, a lot. They happen so much where that this way of trading should be illegal. Price action and market structure should be illegal. But many people just go off and they try to make trading super complicated. They need all these extra confluences when price itself is your confluence. Price, I don't think you understand my pain. Price itself is all you need, all the confluence you need. Just price alone, looking at price itself is all you need to understand this. So then from here, right, from here, we have our uptrend, right? What I've learned and what has clicked for me, matter of fact, I'm gonna just show you what it looks like on a real chart. Boom. We're gonna come here. We're gonna look at this chart. We're gonna go to a 4 hour. We're gonna look at this chart. This is an uptrend. We can visually see that it's been an uptrend. There's multiple moments in here where price has, if we scale down, there's been moments in here where prices did the same thing we talked about. A high, a higher low, a high, a higher low, a high, higher low. And we're just gonna literally go all the way up, right? A little consolidation here. It's all cool. I'm gonna teach you about that. But look at this. Look at this. And what I'm going to show you is going to make trading so much easier for you because I trade based off of a three-step process. We have the indication. So the indication is essentially showing you which direction price is going to go. This is showing you the direction price is looking to go. Then you have your correction. So in this uptrend, our correction is making a higher low, like we talked about. Here's our higher low. Here's our higher low. Here's our higher low. Higher low. Higher than this previous low. Higher than this previous low. Higher than this previous low. This is higher than this previous low. We can determine that this is an uptrend. Plain and simple. The correction is going to make that higher low. And I'm talking about the uptrend right now for this. For a downtrend, it will be a lower high, right? So it'll be making a lower high. So just switch it. So if you ever get confused, the correction is making, for an uptrend, the correction is making a higher low. And for a downtrend, change this, swap it around, is making a lower high, right? So just swap it around, lower high, right? But in this case, since we're looking at a downtrend, I'm at an uptrend, we're looking for higher lows for our corrections. And then our continuation, this is making the higher, or let's say it this way, the new higher high. Boom. Oh my goodness. This is what price is doing. You, the market structure will give you, hey, what is price doing for the week? Okay. It broke. It made a new high. It made a higher high. After the higher high, so this is, we're going to essentially say the indication is the higher high. The indication is the higher high. The correction is the higher low. The continuation is the new higher high. Right? Let me drink some more Red Bull, man. So, with all this being said, remember it this way. This is for an uptrend. So, since we're talking about an uptrend, this is what this is for. Uptrend. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make a note. Matter of fact, let me do it right now. Let me see here. Let me just take a picture of this so I don't forget. And I'm gonna make it into a note. Boom. Then we're gonna do one for downtrend. So downtrend, just work with you guys here, man. Work with you guys here, man. We're gonna change this to low, and then we're gonna change this to, wait, why did I have a, oh yeah, okay, 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 okay. The indication for a downtrend would be a lower low. Let's put it this way. Yeah, let's just, it's going to be new lower low for the indication. So the low is going to get broken and make a new lower low. This one's going to be correction is going to be a lower high. And then making the new higher high, which is going to be lower low. All right, I'm gonna take a picture of this too as well. Post it in Telegram. Let me go ahead and fix that other one too. Uptrend, and we're gonna change this back to new higher high. Then we're gonna change this. Correction is going to be a higher low. Making the continuation is making a new higher high. Cool. And I'm gonna post this once again in the Telegram. One sec, one sec. All right. So, with this being said, the biggest thing that I need you guys to understand is since the market moves in these three ways, or this is how I see the market moves in three ways, it should not be that complicated for you to understand. So, I'm going to show you how you're going to see it. Um, should I break down? I'm gonna go back to my TradeZilla and I'm going to break down a trade that I've done so you can see the overall, like, so you can see it firsthand. All right, so as you can see, this is a trade that I took for 347K, and this was a buy, and I'm gonna show you how everything works. So remember that uptrend that I was just showing you? I've been taking advantage of that, of course, but I'm gonna show you why trends matter, right? So as we can see here, I'm gonna go ahead and just mark this up. Price was making that high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, right? The thing is, and I want to really, really, really explain this to you guys. The market moves in these ways and it will not break this level because remember, trends will not break market structure. Let's just make that in our heads. But when it does break market structure, that means that it's changing. So when price is making highs and lows to you and it's showing you like, hey, this is a new high. Hey, this is the new high. This is my level of support. This is my new high. My entry came from when price is above this new high, or when price was really, it really came because price was above this level, right above this level. Price was right above that level. And the reason why this is important is because these levels are going to be your stop loss levels. These are going to be the levels that you're looking at like, okay, this is where my stop is going to be. So if price breaks this level, it's breaking market structure, which means that it's changing. So all in all, my entry came from here because price broke above here to make a new high. A little bit late to the process because this is where your entry is supposed to come from, but it doesn't have to be perfect. The reason why your entry is supposed to come from there is because above this high, you have your indication, which is that higher high I was talking about. So we have that new higher high. And then we have the correction, which is the higher low. And then once we have that, price goes on a continuation. Our entry always is going to come from wherever that previous higher high was. So this was the first higher high. We had all this happen. And then we had a new higher high, which is this one where this arrow is pointing. Your entry is always going to come from wherever that first higher high was before that new higher high, right? This is where your entry is supposed to come from. My entry was close there. That candle kind of pushed me up a little bit, but it's all cool. The reason is higher high, indication, higher low, correction. This continuation normally starts to create that new higher high, like we spoke about. So this is why we're going to trade on the continuation because essentially this is going to push the market up even more to get us max profits out of here because it's going to make that higher high, right? So that's my entry and price goes up to make a higher high. And since I'm a swing trader and we're trading on the higher time frames, I don't have to close for a little bitty scalp. Nothing is telling me that price is selling off because this is the last level that price pushed off of, right? This is our higher low. So anything under this level, under our higher low, would then be maybe looked at as bearish. So once again, go back to the beginning of the video of what I said. Price is not going to break market structure unless it's time to change, right? So anything under here would have been bearish, but did price come under here? No, right? And I'm showing you the trade that I took. Like I'm not showing you just like, oh, this is what I would have done. This is what I did. I'm not showing you what I would have done. I'm showing you what I've already done, right? So with that being said, my entry came from here. We ended up making that higher high because that's what the continuation is supposed to do. make a new high. Once it made that new high, it went for a correction. You could have once again, and no, not really. You could have taken advantage of this, but you really want to get in before the momentum starts. Even here was a little bit late because you could have got in over here, back at these levels. Price came over here, made a high. Could have got in right above these levels. But anyways, we're not saying what we could have did. We're showing you what we done. So new high, pullback. This is our higher low. Higher low is made. What happens next? Higher high. Higher low is made. Higher high. Higher low is made. Here, price rejected and started kind of consolidating. So I ended up closing that trade. I think this was all one session too. No, it was 2 days. It was all, no, it was 3 days. 3 days of holding. With this being said, Price built everything that I've talked about previous before without breaking structure, without doing anything weird, and just overall giving something totally different. Price did exactly what it was supposed to do, and it kept doing it. After that little bit of consolidation period, we ended up getting a new high. Correction. Look, still look at this. It's still not breaking structure. New high. Consolidation area where it's kind of chilling, choppy a little bit, but then it makes a new high. Here we break structure. Really, this is a retest of this level. I think this was honestly, what was this? Oh yeah, this is that day for Asian session where price kind of sold off, but we're gonna count this as a retest because price really didn't do much with this whole level anyways, just retested this level. A little bit of liquidity grabbed because it was pretty aggressive trying to sell off, but buyers came back into the market and kept everything afloat, right? So then price ends up pushing up and making a new high. So all in all, everything is showing that it's an uptrend and I'm showing you how to take advantage. So once again, if you didn't understand anything, I'm gonna break it down once again. So I'm gonna go back out. Essentially, what I'm doing is I'm letting price go on an uptrend. It'll make a high. It'll break it, give me an indication. That's the higher high. The correction will make the higher low. Back above this level, so this right here is my entry level, right? This is where I'm going to be entering because that is the initial higher high. That was the OG higher high. You need to enter at the OG higher high, and we're going to call it that. The OG higher high. And then we have the new higher high. We enter at the old one. This is why, but only if there's a new higher high already established. So we cannot enter off this higher high until there's a higher high up here already, right? Because this continuation is essentially going to make a new one, right? So uh it's like we have Michael Jordan. Yeah, yeah, we have MJ right here, right? We got MJ in basketball right here, man. We got MJ right here. Takes takes all right, so yeah. Let's explain it like that. So basketball career, MJ going up in the levels, going up in the ranks, and like he's best of all times. And then, start the fall and retire, do his own thing and whatever. So then MJ falls, but he's still like top dog at that level. He's still top dog in 2000 whatever, right? And then, he starts falling off, he retires, boom, whatever. And then we get a new prospect. We get fucking LeBron. So then LeBron's coming up, you know what I'm saying? Like dun, 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 beats MJ's levels and makes a new high, right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So then we have peak LeBron, and LeBron starts falling off. Dun, falls off. And then you got your boy Sai, like, cause why not, man? And I get aspiration. I get aspiration from MJ and LeBron. So then I'm already coming in. I'm already at MJ's level already. So you can already expect me in a couple years to be better than Bron because I'm coming in. Look, LeBron went down to here, this much. I didn't go any lower than MJ's low. So if MJ was averaging 30 here, my new or like if MJ's average was 40 here, his average was 40, I'm already above his average on the daily basis. You get what I'm saying? So with all this being said, LeBron, let's say he averaging 50 at his lowest point, his 50, this is his lowest point. I'm already ahead of him. So my new low is most likely going to be higher than his because we're building up. If I'm learning from MJ and Bron, then I'm going to be higher than them. So the same way with Price, if Price is giving you a higher high, the next thing that should come up is the higher low. And overall, if it's on an uptrend, that higher low is showing you like, hey, we're just getting higher in price. We're getting better and better. We're getting stronger and stronger, right? So then we're looking to make a new high. I'm not doing all this work just to only be at LeBron's level. We're trying to surpass that level. Price is not just buying just to come up to this level and just sell off. It's looking to break that level. Everything Price is doing is looking to just make a new record high. Price wants to buy, and whenever Price wants to sell, it wants to sell. In most cases, when it comes to stocks and trading pretty much commodities, metals, whatever, everything wants to buy, everything wants to gain value. That's the biggest thing you have to know is like everything wants to gain value. There's some things in the economic system where it causes price to drop value, or people lose respect for it, or people lose interest in it, which can sometimes drive the price down. But all in all, everything wants to buy. So everything is looking to create a new high. It just needs that momentum. It needs that money behind it. You can't move anything without that money, man. Like, money talks, bro. Money talks, bro. If there's trillions of dollars into the market and it's all put in one spot, that market is going to be pumping. Everybody's going to be there. Like, bro, it's just like the Miami chicks, bro. You think the Miami chicks going to the little bars and stuff, like the BBL demons? You think the BBL demons going to the tiny bars? Nah, bro, they going to Club Live and stuff. They going to where all the money is at. So all in all, price is gonna do the same thing. It's gonna move where the money is at. It's not gonna go where there's no money. Like, there's no way that price is gonna move when there's no money there. It's not gonna move. So essentially, all I'm doing is whenever price makes a high, I'm entering in, but here. So we have a high, higher low, a new higher high, a higher low. I enter when price broke the previous one. Boom. So once it's back above that level, I'm entering, right? Now, this is the simple version of it. Same way with downtrends, it's the same way. So once again, it's the same way with downtrends. Price will make that lower low, then it will make that lower high. These two things are confirming you that price is on a downtrend. And then you'll start to see price under this level, and we would sell with our stop loss above here. So with buys, our stop loss will be below here. I'm gonna go ahead and put position tool for the beginners. Here's our long with our stop loss here. Here's our sell. We sell under that level with our stop loss above the lower high. Boom. Now, here is the complex part. When do you know that correction is over? When do you know the correction is over? This is going to be a question that I get a lot. It's a question that I get a lot all the time. When do you know after the higher high is made and price is falling down? When do you know price is going to reverse back up and go back up and make a higher high and go for the continuation? Fairly easy. We do all this on the 1 hour or 4 hour time frame. So everything I've been showing so far, we're still on the 1 hour and 4 hour time frame. I use the 1 hour personally. You can use the 4 hour for more like more in detail, or like not even more details. Like if you want like a bigger move or you looking for a bigger push, 4 hour time frame. day to day, 2, 3 day hold, you can go to the 1 hour. Doesn't really matter what trend you or like what time frame you're looking at essentially when it comes to 4 hour or 1 hour, because they're both really going to show the same thing. But those are the time frames we're looking at. So from here, we scale down to that 15-minute time frame to find the entry. So once again, like I said in the beginning of the video, 1 hour time frame is what I mark up on. 15-minute time frame is what I'm able to get my entries off of. Excuse me. So all in all, 15-minute time frame. When price is correcting, oof, we have this thing called time frame correlation. A lot of people get misconstrued and feel like they should just look at one time frame, or if I tell them time frame correlation, they go to a smaller time frame and think they're supposed to look for something totally different. No. No, 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 no. What I'm showing you on the 1 hour time frame is the exact same thing. Please don't get confused. People get this so confused. People get confused for no reason. So notice how on the 1 hour, all I'm telling you is look for the higher high, look for that correction, and then that buy. So don't get confused when I say this. So when price is going on this correction, the 15-minute time frame will look like this. Please don't get confused. This is what this will look like. So this right here, you see how price is going down, 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 down. That's what this is going to look like, but on a 15-minute time frame. This is the 1 hour. We're looking at the 1 hour over here, H1. The gray box is the H1 right here. This gray box is what the 15 would look like if we was looking at the 15 right here. So this is the 15-minute. Now, with this being said, see how when the 15-minute or like when the 1 hour is going down, on the 15-minute, it'll look like this. Notice how price on the 1 hour goes back up. On the 15, what that would look like is price doing this, right? That's what it will look like on the 15. How do we know when the correction is over? Remember what I just said at the beginning of the video. Price or trends will not break market structure unless the trend is changing. Yep, case closed. I hope everybody has an amazing day. See you guys. No, but seriously, once price breaks market structure, this is showing you that the trend is changing. So above this level, we have our higher high. This is, price on the 15-minute just made a higher high. This could potentially be a uptrend. Potentially could be an uptrend. Maybe. But then we get a higher low. Boom. We got a higher high and now we got a higher low. So now we have a higher high and higher low on the 15-minute time frame. We just made a higher low on the 1 hour time frame with a higher high in the market. Both time frames are aligned because we see the same thing. We see a higher high and a higher low on the 15-minute time frame. 1 hour time frame, we had that higher high, we correct it. So all this right now, so we're going to take this. This is all happening right here. All this is happening right here. Let's just put an arrow right here. This is all happening on this level right here. So this break, you want that to match up with the higher time frame, right? So that circle, you want this to be at that same level, or you want this to be either before or even a little bit after. So what I'm saying is when you're taking that entry right here, You want to see this. You want to see, boom, prices building lower, and then boom, you see a break. Boom, you want to see all that happen, right? So if we get rid of this, this is what we essentially want to see. We want to see price building, lower low, lower low, correction, correction, then it stops. Look at this. Price here breaks above this level. We have a high, we have a low. Price comes above that level, price comes above this level too as well. We take the entry because the 15 now is aligning with the 1 hour. The 1 hour is coming back above that level. So, with this being said, we're going to take the buy when price goes back above that level. So let me go ahead and turn all this back. Boom. That is it. Same way with buys. So the same thing I said with buys, you look for the same thing in sales. Just lower highs and lower lows. Nothing's different. Just because you're selling doesn't mean nothing changed. So don't ask me, oh, what about a sell example? Because it's the same thing, bro. It's literally the same thing. Like the same exact thing, just lower highs and lower lows. So I'm literally flip the chart and it's the same thing. You'll get the lower low, lower high, below that level, that's where sales go. You get the low, price breaks, indication, lower low, correction, lower high, anything under this level, lower low, new lower low in the market. So indication, the lower low, correction, the lower high, the continuation, a new lower low. Same way. Indication, higher high. Correction, higher low. Continuation is looking to make a new higher high, right? That is that. I just showed you an entry example, showed you how to mark up the charts. Now I'm going to show you what all these highs and lows mean. How you should come about marking up your chart. So whenever you mark a swing point, because that's what you're marking up, whenever you're marking up a swing level, let's say this is the high, you're essentially looking at price get to a certain point. So it's buying, 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 buying. It gets to this certain point, and sellers come into the market and push them down. So price is growing up to a certain level, and then there's a bunch of sellers sitting at that level pushing price down, right? So this means that there's a force field here telling you, hey, price cannot go past this level. So essentially, in an uptrend or a downtrend, in this case, an uptrend, price is not going to break structure, but it is going down because it's collecting more money. It came up here to get information. Hey, the gate is going to be 500 to pass. So price is going to be like, I bet we'll be back. Boom, go grab some money. Once price gets to 500, it comes back. Matter of fact, they're going to come with more than 500. They're going to come with 1,000. They're gonna come to the gate like, yeah, bro, you said 500, we got 1,000. So then they give them the 500, and they still got 500 more. So they're gonna keep pushing. They're gonna go do their own thing now, right? So boom, they push up. Now they out of money again. They're like, oh shit, we need to go get some more money. Boom, but they're not going as low as they went before to get money. They don't need to do all that. They already been at rock bottom. There's no. It's the same way with success. Like, you don't need to stoop down that low just to get the bread back if you take a loss. In the beginning, when you take a loss or if you lose money, you might be at rock bottom, so you don't have money to lose anymore. But then once you start building your capital, you having consistent wins, and you have a loss, it's like, all right, bet we can still recover. Take a little step back, but you don't need to go from day one again. It's the same way with like your whole trading journey. Like just because you take a loss doesn't mean you got to go all back to square one. Doesn't mean you have to restart your whole strategy just because you took one loss, right? Same way with this. They out of money. They used all their money. They don't need to stoop all the way back down this low. they can come back down a little bit lower just to collect some money, but they don't need to come all the way past what they was before. So they're gonna collect a little bit of money and then come back above this level again because they got it. So now they got 5,000 this time. So then they push past here again, $500, hand them a little 500, and then they back up again. That's all I'm essentially doing is when they come with that big stack, that's when I'm getting in. That first push, they just using the rest of their money that they got to even break out in the first place. This is the entry. This was the bottle they had to this was the table they had to pay for. They paid for the table just to get into the club. And then they ran out of money in the club or whatever, so they had to go to the ATM. Boom. They go to the ATM and they come back with bigger money. That's when all the girls come to the party, you know what I'm saying? But y'all not feeling me, bro. Y'all not feeling me. I'm trying to give y'all some good examples. Y'all not feeling me, bro. But yeah, that's when everybody comes. That's when the party's lit. When there's more money involved, like in the beginning of the party, nobody's there. It's just the entry. It's kind of boring. It's whatever. And the dude's like, all right, let's turn the party up. So they're like, all right, bet. Let's go get some bread. Let's turn the party back up. And then once they come back into the club, then they have way more money. And then they go for a new higher high. And then it's lit. Vice. So all in all you're doing is letting price show you the indication of where it wants to go. Correction, continuation. So anything above this level, buyers have complete control. So anything that happens past here, they can do whatever they want. They just need the entry. All this is essentially entry. So for uptrends, if sellers are sitting here for an uptrend, anything above that level is essentially telling you you have full control of whatever you want to do above this level. Same with here. This is the level they get to. Sellers are here. Boom. Sellers push them down. They get more money. They come back with more power. They got way more power, way more money. So then they make a new level. They break a new level. It's levels to the game. Now they can do whatever they want, but they're using the rest of whatever they had left to break their new high, right? So, with all that being said, I'm just gonna make a part two to this. Because essentially this is all like this is everything, but I probably said a lot. You probably need to watch this video 20, 30 times, but this is all I do when it comes to trading. Like this is literally all I do when it comes to trading. Like essentially all I do when it comes to trading. And it works for me. Like this whole thing works for me, and I've been doing it for 4 years, going on 5 years now. And I would say, like, literally just open your mind to having a simple strategy or having a simple way of trading or a simple way of learning price action and market structure. Yeah, with that being said, just drop a follow, drop a subscribe, follow me on all my socials, and yeah, I'll see you guys in part two.